We continue with a little bit of self-indulgence, to be honest, because over the years many people have occupied these seats here. Not for much longer, though. The BBC bids farewell, as you know, to these studios in Oxford Road and moves to Media City UK in Salford Quays next week. Yeah, Dave Guest is spending this week wandering down memory lane. He's been here a few years himself, and he's been meeting some former residents of this studio.
It's 1981 and there's a new arrival at the BBC's Oxford Road HQ. Look North West and its successor North West Tonight were to be resident here for the next 3 decades.
To come to a brand new building with brand new equipment and dressing rooms, the luxury of having somewhere to actually get changed every day before the programme was fantastic.
Yes, welcome to the North West Tonight presenters' dressing room. Glamorous, isn't it? Well, over the years, people have come and gone. Just imagine how many famous faces must have stared into this mirror. Some you may recall, others you may not. But there's one face no one could forget.
Good evening to you. After the most hectic, indeed most dramatic party conference season for many years...
I've always said that it should be seamless. The division between network television and regional television should be seamless. Eventually it all fell into place and we formed a great team. Some wonderful broadcasters came through.
Well, now here's John Mundy with the rest of our news tonight.
Detectives investigating the murder in Castleton of art students.
It's 1983 and a new kid has arrived on the block.
So we're showing a programme that we've made. It's going to be...
Wonder whatever happened to him. But the other new arrival in this year was this. With regional news bulletins every half hour through the morning, the Manchester team had to be expanded.
We were sitting there scratching our heads thinking, does anybody actually want to watch this stuff at this ungodly hour? And actually, yes, they did, in quite big numbers.
A year or so later, Look North West morphed into North West Tonight, with a now familiar double act at the helm.
People did used to compare us to Morecambe and Wise, but I think that was much more about comparing him to a sort of brash seaside resort and me to being more thought-provoking.
North West Tonight, with John Mundy and WINIFRED Robinson.
Police Chief
WINIFRED Robinson always aimed to be thought-provoking, and she was determined to be taken seriously as a journalist.
And I do remember once being sent to an exhibition of Japanese artifacts, and the producer asking me if I would dress up in a kimono. And I remember saying to him, well, would you ask one of the male reporters to dress up in a kimono?
Well, some of the chaps weren't averse to dressing up.
But these little fellas are all authentic, aren't they?
Hello, Chester!
The programme's annual food appeal was popular for many years, but it almost cost Stuart Hall dear. He contracted bronchitis while on the road, and a reaction to medication had serious effects.
My wife and son came down to see me, and I was festooning wires and all the rest of it. Said, what have you been doing? I said, I've been out on the food appeal. Nearly cost me my life.
The years moved on, the title sequences and theme tunes moved with them. And in 1997, a new, yet strangely familiar face took over at North West Tonight.
Well, it was very daunting, first and foremost, because I hadn't done live television for quite a long time.
Good evening. Welcome to North West Tonight.
I tell you what, when I went home every night from doing North West Tonight in the first 2 weeks, I was like an old grandad, because as I sat down when I got home, I would fall asleep in the chair, because it's very mentally stretching doing a live programme.
Good evening.
Well, stretching or not, Gordon was to spend 15 years in the hot seat. Tomorrow, we'll be meeting some of the reporters who go to any length or height to get a story. Dave Guest, BBC North West Tonight.